Elizabeth Olwin. I'm a Toronto-based surface pattern designer, which basically means that I create patterns for all sorts of different kinds of products. I have always loved pattern from a really early age and have always collected fabrics just for fun and collect old wallpapers and stuff like that. So yeah, patterns have a really special place in my heart. Some of my products include fabrics, including like quilting weight fabrics, upholstery, corduroy, stuff like that. I also do quite a bit of work in the stationery, so that can include like these little gift bags and stickers and gift wraps and greeting cards and all sorts of other paper products. And I also do kind of gift, some home decor stuff like bedding. So basically possibilities for surface pattern design are pretty much endless. A little bit about collections. Before we kind of dive into the class content. You may have taken my first class in Skillshare, which is all about building a repeat pattern in Illustrator from scratch. So I was talking about building one pattern. In this class, we're going to talk about building a series of patterns that can mix and match and coordinate together. So one way, I remember like whenever I started learning pattern design, I was a little confused about the concept of collections, and I kind of didn't know like why or like what they were used for, or kind of like how the prints come together, what they should do, what they shouldn't do. So I like to think about collections in terms of an analogy of like decorating your bedroom. So if you're going to redecorate your bedroom, you're going to find a really amazing duvet cover. It's probably going to have this like really bold print on it, and then you're going to want different curtains, a different print for the curtains. You want a different print for the rug, and maybe the sheets on your bed would be a slightly different print. So you want them to all mix and match together and kind of coordinate beautifully. So that's kind of how I like to think about collections. I thought I'd kind of walk you through one of my collections to kind of explain the concept of it a little bit further. So this right here is my first fabric collection with Cloud9. It's called Grey Abbey, and it kind of shows you the breakdown of a collection. So generally a collection is comprised of some hero prints. This would be considered a hero print. So it's got a kind of larger scale, it's got a lot of motifs going on in it, it's got a nice variety of color, and generally it's just kind of an engaging print, and it kind of invites you in to kind of spend some time and like get to know all the different elements and motifs that are happening. This would also be considered a hero print. So again, wide variety of color, lots of motifs, really engaging and fun and interesting to look at. So those are your heroes. In addition to this, you have some secondary prints, which kind of helps tell the story, but don't like require quite as much attention or focus. So this would be considered a secondary print. A slightly reduced color palette. It's got a great design and still stands on its own, but it's not quite as much of a showstopper as the hero print. And this would also be considered a secondary print. So again, reduced color palette, really great to look at, but takes a backseat to the hero prints. In addition, you have some blender prints. So these are both considered blender prints, and they basically do what it says it is. It blends the whole collection together. So usually it kind of like reiterates the color story or like the style of the pattern. So in this case, picks up on, kind of rounds out the color palette. So you pick up more of the coral and the mint and everything, just kind of blends it or glues it all together. Whenever I'm working on my collections, I also like to add some spot graphics, so kind of like standalone graphics to go with it. And ultimately, I'll give it a great name and learn to tell a story around my collection. So yeah, that's kind of a look at collections. In the next video, I'm going to walk you through the project brief and what we're actually going to be doing in this class.